The 2011 season saw 4 rookies join the field, and by the end of the year, 5 drivers had driven their last Grand Prix. Nick Heidfeld, or Quick Nick, the man with the unenviable record of most podium finishes without a win, saw his last Grand Prix halfway through the 2011 season. Not quite the graceful end to his F1 career I'm sure he hoped for, Heidfeld had enjoyed a pretty successful venture up until the end of 2009. Racing with Sauber for the majority of his career with stints at Jordan, Williams and latterly Lotus Renault, Heidfeld was a fast and reliable driver and enjoyed his best season in 2007, finishing 5th overall in the standings with BMW Sauber. However, it was downhill from there, and once BMW pulled out of F1, Heidfeld lost his drive and sought refuge as a test driver for the new Mercedes GP team, before joining Pirelli as a test driver. He did manage to resurrect his F1 career halfway through 2010, rejoining Sauber to replace Pedro de la Rosa before once again being left on the sidelines for 2011, joining the Lotus Renault team as a test and reserve. Robert Kobits' pre-season rally crash ahead of the 2011 season ruled him out of racing that year and saw Heidfeld promoted back into the race seat, enjoying mixed results, but he did achieve a podium place in his second race for the team. However, retiring in Hungary halfway through the season in a dramatic fire that destroyed his car was the last we saw of Heidfeld in F1. After the mid-season break, he was replaced by Bruno Senna, who saw out the rest of the year. Since F1, Heidfeld has raced successfully in the World Endurance Championship for Rebellion Racing, competing at the 24 Hour of Le Mans and in the American Sports Car Championship. He returned to single-seaters through the Formula E Championship in 2014. He'll be forever remembered in Formula E history due to his last-lap collision at the first ever race in Beijing with Nico Prost, which sent Heidfeld crashing upside down into the barriers and robbing him of the win. He competed for Venturi and Mahindra Racing, where he once again scored at least one podium in the 4 seasons he took part in, but with the win always eluding him. Heidfeld has stepped back from racing now and acts as a reserve and test driver for Mahindra in Formula E, whilst also working on developing the world's first fully electric hypercar with Automobili Pininfarina. Another F1 refugee who has gone on to achieve great things since leaving the pinnacle of motorsport is Switzerland's Sébastien Buemi. Part of the famous Red Bull driver program, he got his shot racing in the junior team Toro Rosso in 2009. Which is where he remained until he was ousted at the end of 2011. Buemi's career can be described as making the best of what he had. A relatively uncompetitive car, he scored points when he could, and that's all that can really be said. He was kept in the Red Bull family and continues to this day act as reserve and test driver for both Red Bull and now AlphaTauri. It wasn't until after his F1 journey came to an end, though, that Buemi's career really flourished. A move to the World Endurance Championship with Toyota in the LMP1 category saw him constantly at the sharp end of the field, winning the championship in 2014. Like many F1 outcasts, Buemi signed up for Formula E's inaugural season and is currently the most successful driver in the series' history, claiming more wins, poles, fastest laps and points than any other driver, achieving the world title at the end of the 2015-16 season. He still competes in the category today alongside his WEC and F1 reserve commitments. You can hear about his entire career from the man himself on our podcast too. Jaime Al-Gheshwari was the Red Bull junior who first set the records for youngest whatever by becoming the youngest F1 driver to start a Grand Prix in history at 19 years old. That record is now in the hands of another Red Bull junior by the name of Max Verstappen. Al-Gheshwari's story is one of the more interesting to note. A strong but unsubstantial junior career saw him promoted, slightly prematurely, into Toro Rosso midway through 2009 to replace Sebastian Boemi to endure a pretty terrible campaign. Back again with Toro Rosso for 2010 and able to score multiple points finishes and remain with the team into 2011, he enjoyed his best ever season, scoring and qualifying well inside the top 10 on multiple occasions. However, this wasn't enough for the Red Bull bosses and, along with teammate Buemi, was ousted in favour of Daniel Ricciardo and Jean-Éric Vergne. Like many, he joined Formula E with the Virgin Racing team and scored a best finish of 4th during the season. He failed to compete the year and shortly announced he would be retiring from motorsport at the age of 25 to pursue a career as a DJ, which he has done successfully under the name of Squire. Jarno Trulli, the man famous for the notorious Trulli train, was an expert in the art of out-qualifying the pace of his car and holding everybody up behind him during a race. It paid off with him racing in Formula 1 from 1997 with Minardi, Prost, Jordan, Renault, Toyota and Lotus. His best year came in 2004 with the Renault F1 team, finishing 6th overall and achieving a miraculous win in Monaco. Trulli certainly made a mark on the sport. However, things dwindled for the Italian after Toyota pulled out of F1, leaving Trulli to join the new team Lotus for 2010. A considerable downgrade in Trulli's F1 career, he failed to score a single point with the team, and although had a contract with them through to 2012, was forced into an early retirement at the end of 2011 after the team chose the Russian Vitaly Petrov and his backers to replace Trulli last minute. Since leaving Formula 1, it seems almost a given that every driver at least has a go at Formula E now, and Trulli went further than most, launching his own team, Trulli GP. Despite achieving one pole position and a best finish of 4th, the team were mainly uncompetitive and folded just before the start of the second Formula E season. Now, Trulli enjoys life with his children, who are racing go-karts, and runs his own winery. Along with Jarno Trulli, Vitantonio Liuzzi left at the end of 2011, leaving the Formula 1 grid without any Italians. From 2005 onwards, Liuzzi raced for Red Bull, Toro Rosso, Force India, and finished up his career with HRT. His best season came in 2010 with the Force India team, finishing up with 15th in the standings with a best career result of 6th. A move to HRT saw him compete at the back of the grid before being dropped at the end of the year. Stints followed in the World Endurance Championship, Superstars, Super GT and Super Formula, including a run in Jarno Trulli's Formula E team. However, he has not raced since 2017. Rubens Barrichello enjoyed a long, illustrious career in F1, making his debut in 1993 with Jordan before going on to race for Stewart, Ferrari, Honda, Braun and Williams. Despite being gifted several title-winning cars, he never managed to clinch the driver's crown himself, usually finishing runner-up. A one-year drive in IndyCar called for Barrichello after F1 before a more permanent move to stock car racing in his native Brazil, along with drives in the IMSA Championship and Le Mans. Last but not least, racing his final race in 2011 was living legend Karoon Chandok. Although the second ever Indian F1 driver actually lost his seat more or less at the end of the 2010 season with Hispania, he clung on to hope with the new Lotus team. Initially acting as a reserve driver, he got the chance to race in Germany, but that was where it ended. Chandok has proved since leaving F1 that he has the skill to be a top-flight racing driver, going on to race in the WEC, GTs and Formula E, where he achieved a best result of 5th. These days, you can find Karoon acting as an analyst on Sky Sports F1 and chatting to us on the MotorMouth podcast. Stay tuned for part 3, where we take a look at those drivers who departed F1 following the 2012 season. In the meantime, don't forget to like and subscribe, and do leave a comment in the section below.